In December 2015, there were several news reports published on how Bengaluru will not have water in the future and we might have to be evacuated. River Kaveri, we know, is a major source of water, not for just our city, but Karnataka on the whole and other regions as well. But is the government doing enough to save water, or are we making our situation worse in the form of development? Today I have with me Ms. Devika Devaya. She is the committee member on the Save River Kaveri team. Ma'am, thank you so much. Appreciate you joining us here live in the newsroom. First of all, if you could tell us, you are from Coorg.
Yes.
How much of an impact does Coorg have for the water in Bengaluru?
Thank you so much for having me, Shrishti. And I think that's an important question to ask, because very often when you talk about Bangalore, for example, you don't think about the origin of the word Bangalore, you know. And do you know what the origin is?
Yes, it's named after beans is what I
Right,
heard.
Bendakaluru, or
Yes.
it could even be, you know, Bendakaluru, they also say would possibly after a burnt forest. So we don't
Okay.
necessarily know.
Okay.
But Bangalore is something that's home to you and me and means so much to us. Similarly, you know, when you say Kaveri water, and that's something we all take very seriously. You know, when you want to buy a house, everybody, the first thing they're concerned about is Kaveri water. But I wonder if we really think about where Kaveri water comes from and what it means. And Kaveri, its birth and its origin is in Coorg. And that's how critical a role it plays for Bangalore, because every home wants and needs Kaveri water for its sustenance.
Absolutely, and even today when we are buying an apartment, the first question we ask the builder
Without
is, does it
question.
have Kaveri water, right?
connection.
Yes, absolutely. But now the government is coming up with a plan where they're going to build a railway track in Coorg.
Right.
And that is going to have an impact on our water resources. So if you
Yes.
could elaborate a little bit on that.
Yes, well, I'll try and elaborate in a number of different ways about this, right? Because again, it's interesting in terms of what unconnected impacts could happen. Last year, there was a high tension line that went through Coorg, and we tried, of course, to stop that from happening, because about 50,000 trees were cut down for the high tension line to go all the way through to Kerala. And this time round, we have a very similar fear actually, that if the railway track comes into Coorg, the project proposes that it will go first up to Kushalnagar, which is the gateway into Coorg, and then from Kushalnagar onwards into Madkeri. Our fear is that again, when you do a project like this, that lakhs and lakhs of trees will be cut down.
Right.
Now, what really is that connection, right? The minute a tree is cut down, by the way, every tree carries about 400 liters of water,
Wow.
which it transpires every day into the ecosystem, right? So draws from the ground and transpires. So that's really where the rain connect happens,
Right.
because if it's giving the water out, that's where the clouds get created and back and forth, things like that happen.
Right.
The tree itself holds a great amount of water, which feeds back into the river and to the river system, right? Now, can you imagine if 50,000 trees were cut down? That's about 2 crore lakhs of liters of water per day, which we've lost.
Wow. Yes.
Okay. Now let's connect back to something else. Coorg this year had a low rainfall in January to March. Okay, and that's the point in time really where KRS gets filled,
Right.
because we need that kind of water in the
Water,
KRS
right,
dam.
right.
And if you've been reading the news reports, then you'll know we've had record lows of water at KRS. In fact, there were news reports that said Bangalore has just enough water, KRS has just enough water for the city for just about 60 days, right? So there were panic reports like that. And Kabini, they stopped providing water to the neighborhood farmers
Yes.
because they needed to feed Bangalore.
Right.
KRS went to about, I think, 84, just under 85 TMC, and that really meant that, 85 feet, and that really meant that, you know, it was just 10 feet above dead storage. So record lows, literally, so to speak.
And
right?
if this railway track comes, in that case, Bengaluru, which anyways has a shortage of water, is going to
can
be
expect-
impacted even further.
Yes, you know, with the 50,000 trees, if you look at again, if you look at what normal and average temperatures in Coorg is supposed to be, it's usually about 28, you know, degrees in summer. It's supposed to be that.
Yes.
But we've been hitting 35.
Okay.
And that's largely because of the, you know, overall so-called development that's been taking place there.
Right.
Bangalore, we almost hit 40 this year.
Yes, we did.
And it's going to happen again and again and again. There are no surprises.
Yes.
So we can't afford to continue to be reactive about this. We have to be proactive. And one of the things we have to do is to look at where does the source of water for Bangalore come from.
Correct.
You know, Bangalore's water tank is actually Coorg.
Right.
That's where
Yes.
it comes from. River
Yes.
Kaveri is your water tank.
Yes.
And unless otherwise we make sure that that water tank is protected, we're unlikely to have this kind of flowing water that we talk of so freely and happily.
Yes, but now that the government is coming up with this railway track, they're doing it in the name of development. They're saying this will generate more revenue
Right.
for Coorg as a
Right.
region. It will
Yeah.
also benefit the coffee, the people who are growing coffee.
That's
so
right.
yes.
That's
so
right.
so what do you have to say about that?
Well, so let's understand this word development itself. In my mind, there are two kinds of developmental projects. One is what I call the 3P development, which puts people, the planet, and prosperity. If I was talking to a corporate group, I'd have said profit, but in this case, it's prosperity of the nation at the center. And I don't think any of us are against that kind of development. For example, in 2010, I went ahead and audited the Gujarat government, and Mr. Modi was the chief minister at that point in time, on a very interesting project that they've done there, which is called Jyoti Gram Yojana. Now, very simply, Gujarat is one of the very few states in the country where every village gets 24/7 electricity.
Yes.
And I won't go into the details at the moment, but what they did was they separated the agricultural feed, and they separated the industrial feed and the household feed for electricity, right? So they created a parallel electricity system, and they ensured that farmers paid for it, right? So there's a very interesting innovation that lies around that whole thing, because really what tends to happen is farmers draw out a lot of groundwater,
Yes.
when they need it for agriculture, and they found a way to make sure that that works properly, but that system also contains what farmers have to do. Now, at the same point in time, they did that, but they also put in 5 lakh water-saving local systems, like check dams in place. So while you were doing the electrical solution, you also did the irrigation solution together. Gujarat ended up being one of the only groundwater positive states. Okay, and there's a lot of other positive impacts for people as well. To me, that's the kind of development that makes sense. Okay. On the other side, you sometimes have projects which are disguised as development but could have other agendas, right? Or on the other hand, they could also be what I call good intention but ungood outcomes, right? Now, do we have time? There's another very interesting little story. In Orissa, somewhere in the 70s, what happened was, they decided that if they wanted to increase the cattle population and help people towards prosperity, that they had to, bring in what was called Jersey semen and Jersey cows, which were superior cows, and make sure that all the local cattle were impregnated with Jersey semen. Okay, and it's a very good book to read. This is by P. Sainath. It's called Everybody Loves a Good Drought, which is, of course, ironic in nature. And what happens once they decided this, they brought in the Jersey semen and they looked at how they could increase the cattle with this. They also decided that there's a local bull, they call the Kerryard bull, which worked pretty fine. And in the years that we've had our local ways of breeding. But the biggest worry for them was, now that we're deciding to go this hybrid way, what if some of the local cows breed with the local bulls? What do we do? And someone came up with this brilliant idea at that point in time, saying, let's castrate all the local bulls. So that's what they did. They castrated all the local bulls, and in a couple of years, the Jersey project didn't work. Okay, so the calves that they got were very poor, the milk was very poor, and the entire project failed. And the Kerryard bull, in fact, went into, it's close to extinction now. So you notice very good intentions, but if you don't start looking at what could be the possible impact, and I would request for our governments, we're not saying no to development at all, right? What we're saying is, look, we want thoughtful development, like the Gujarat model, the Jyoti Gram Yojana, that makes sense and has an impact. And I think the onus is on the government to be able to show us what that impact is. And we're seeking that through the RTI.
Right, but we are talking about the government here, but we as people of the city and of Karnataka itself, is there anything that we can do to help?
Yes, right. So one is to know that, the water in your tap, not to take that for granted. And therefore, right now, we're requesting you to sign a petition to go through whatever data and details is there and know why we're fighting for something like this, right? Because we're fighting not just for Coorg, we're fighting for the entire river system through Karnataka and Tamil Nadu, and especially for the Kaveri water connection, which is what you want, right? So please sign that petition. We've put it up on change.org, and for youngsters to get us to all rally around and be part of this, and I hope you will do that too.
Absolutely,
Srishti,
I will.
is
I've
to,
already signed.
pick up
Yes.
is to pick up a glass of clear carpety water,
Okay.
and put your picture out there on Facebook. Encourage friends to
Sure.
sign up for that, because we Kodavas we love to have fun and raise a toast as well. So please raise a toast to River
Absolutely,
Kaveri.
we raise a toast to so many things. So let's raise a toast to something that's so important to us. That's the backbone of who we are, right? Which is water. So we are going to do that, and Devika is going to be putting up details in the comment section below. Keep watching us on facebook.com/newsable. Log on to newsable.com for more updates. Thank you.
Thank you, Srishti.
Thank you so much.